Good
Hello.
good evening, Marcus. How are you?
Hello. What are we doing? How are we today? You know what? Shout out to Haribo. This portion of the show is brought to you by Haribo Twin Snakes. These are delicious and nutritious.
Are those gummy worms? Gummy
These are
something?
gummies.
Hmm.
They're kind of sweet and sour, but
Yeah,
another thing.
nice.
Yeah. Um, you know, I'm feeling the type of way. How many people we got on right now? How many people here?
You had four. It's down to two. Um, I think people will kind of come through.
Yeah, people come through as they come
They'll
through.
come through. Come
Let
through
me
as they
say
come through.
this. It's a new year. All that straggling and graggling in, we're gonna fix all that. Y'all boys start showing up on time. So when you see that we on,
Hmm.
come on. Like what we doing? 78,
Come
where
on.
you at? Don't tell me, yo, dude, bring your ass on up here. Hey Trey, what's up, dude? Listen, all that straggling and graggling, we doing something P. Diddy of this comic shit. That's right. Yeah. All the straggling and graggling, we about to do something different this year. We about to make some announcements. Ferg, I'm gonna let you know.
Hmm.
Um, I was talking to my good friend uh,
Okay.
Steve McNiven, and he's a
Okay.
comic book guy.
Yeah, I heard of him.
And, yeah,
Yeah.
and he's the guy that has has one of the more popular Kamala Khan books. But even before that, he's just an incredible artist.
Yeah.
Um, we'll start bringing people on the show, talk to them. You know what I'm saying?
Great.
So like,
I,
I think that's what we're going to start doing.
I love
Talking,
it.
talking to some of my other good friends, and I think that's what we're going to start doing. Like in the new year, we're going to start bringing out, music people, comic people, toy people, and just really get into all things, culture of show. I think that's the most important thing, right? In this season of, we've been doing it for a minute now, and I know, just kind of up and down and just kind of figuring out what it is. But
Yeah.
the commitment that we're going to make to you guys this year is that we're going to actually be on, present, and accounted for, and we're going to do it, way more consistently, simply because it's what we have a passion to do. So
Hmm.
it's gonna be good. I'm definitely excited about it. How you doing there, Ferg?
Doing all right. Work's been pretty busy. Good. You know.
That's cool. Don't nobody give a shit. Listen, we are here to talk about um comics. I mean, listen, did y'all see well, let's talk about everything, all things collectible. Did y'all see the pump fake with Bitcoin? I mean, Jesus, I mean, what's really going on? I know Trey's sitting on some. So as soon as the SEC announced, what it is, I think I'm gonna come over to his house and see if he'll let me borrow one of them coins that he got left. I think he got maybe like 40 or 50 of them left. He's just sitting on.
You want me to? I'm actually now curious, so I'm gonna bring it up here, man. Let's take a
Yeah, it was
look.
a pump fake. I mean, it was sell the
Yeah,
news. It was a
yeah,
sell the news.
yeah. Look at that, 47.
Look at that. And they have till tomorrow to get it done. So we all know that it's gonna pop.
Yeah.
Here's what I would say, Ferd. Um, and I know you can't really do financial advice, but you
It's
know,
okay.
yeah, but
Let's talk about
what
it.
would you say to the person right now without giving financial advice? What they should be doing or how should they prepare for tomorrow? Is there anything that you can say without getting you in trouble as far as like, ETF or
No, I think I can. I think
absolutely.
keep it sick ass away.
Yeah, Vinny got every kind of
Vin,
damn disease, cooties,
Vinny's
booties,
they're
every
gonna
time.
they're gonna come together and form a new strain. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Vinny got the Vinny strain.
The Vinny strain. You know, to
Oh,
answer
Vinny.
your question, Marcus. I've seen reports that like you know uh if this ETF goes through Bitcoin at 200,000 or at least 100,000. And if you were to ask me this like a year ago, I'd probably laugh in your face. I'm still cautious, but it's more of a reality than it was to me a year ago. If To answer your question, if 46,000 is a lot of money to invest in one thing, even if you have a very good feeling it's going to go up, right?
Hmm.
Um, I was asking the Discord what people thought of Ethereum as an alternative investment. Still
Mhm.
pretty expensive, give or take. However, um, I was asking that for my own personal kind of uh, wonderment, I guess, of the Bitcoin variety. Uh, so yeah, I think just for the normal like investor, 46,000 is a lot. I mean, it's probably if you have that much money, it's probably your whole portfolio. I'd look at Ethereum and the other more stable coins because this is always happens. It happens in collectibles. It when the main barometer for that asset class moves up, people always look to the next like least expensive asset, which would be Ethereum. Um, what's the other one? I can't think of the other ones, but Ethereum just kind of came to mind because I feel it's a little more
Solana,
stable.
yeah,
Yeah.
Solana, all them other ones,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
I'm even looking at, Doge and Shiba making some sort of return, even though those are like, meme coins.
Hmm.
I'd be interested to see, what that looks like. But we're not here to have those kind of conversations because I definitely don't want to get you in trouble. But it's news. I mean, it is big
Yeah,
news
it's news. Yeah, sure.
that it's a thing. So, so it's like I mean, I'm interested to see how it's gonna I'm about to say oh, I thought something just came across my news feed. I thought it said Melania Trump had passed away, but it was her mom, who,
Oh
by the
wow.
way, is 1 year older than Donald Trump.
Oh really? I didn't know that.
He was only 1 year older than Donald Trump.
Huh?
She was 78. I guess he's 77. So,
Crazy.
man, praying for the family of Melania Trump.
Hmm.
And man, okay, that's interesting stuff. But that's what happens. The news comes quick, fast. I come on the phone, come everywhere. I'm here. I'm everywhere. I'm Visa. I'm everywhere
Peace.
you want to be. I'm everywhere. Hello, Jet. Hey, Commander Cody.
Oh,
How are
Cody.
you? All right, so what we getting into? Let's talk about. Let's get into some.
Yeah, nothing too crazy this week. I try not to just fabricate news. If I don't have a lot, I'm not going to report on a lot. But I figured I don't have a this or that this week either. I just didn't have time. It's been crazy with work and that,
We don't
all
need
that.
this and that
Oh,
every time.
I
But
know it's fun though,
hey,
right?
it's just it's just let's get
It's
into it.
it's fun. So some trading card stuff in the horizon, and actually, first I want to talk about Lorcana. What's up, Tony? Thanks for coming through, man. My magazine guru, my dude. Good to see you coming through, man. So Lorcana, I know we talked a lot about the initial release, and I haven't really looked at prices or just kind of like how the gameplay is or whatever. But I did try it out, and it's actually a functioning, very entertaining game. It's not. I wouldn't say it's like. It's definitely a mix of Pokemon and Magic.
Mm,
Um, I could see it's easy enough for I think kids to understand the concept of how to win and all that stuff, but I think yeah, it's about to. um, I think the unfortunate thing about Lorcana is that it when I asked these kids if they've ever played or if they want to play, they never heard of it. And when I was a kid, I was like 18, 17 when Pokemon came out. Every kid knew about Pokemon and they
right.
want to play and they want to actually use the cards, or they knew about Magic the Gathering or Star Wars, whatever. Um, I don't I think the thing that will bring more attention back to Lorcana is kids playing the game or actual playability of the game. And it functions like a fun, entertaining game. The price point, 5.99 a pack, it's kind of it's kind of in between for me, I think, for kids if they want to
Mhm.
spend $6, right? Um, you have a couple young ones, right? I mean, have they even heard of Lorcana before?
No, no.
See, it's just too bad. I mean, like, I think Disney messed up on the distribution of it. They should have really somehow got it into schools or marketed more towards kids, because it's a fun game to play, and it's a property that obviously everyone knows Disney. Why wouldn't you want a Frozen, super rare or what have you. And I think most importantly, it crosses not just males, it crosses females as well. Because the girls I was playing with, they liked the nieces, they were loving the game. So I just think it's an unfortunate thing. I think if you're thinking long term about investing in Arcana, it has to get into. I mean, kids have to start talking and playing it. Otherwise, I think it's too risky to get into, even at the price points now. So I know. What are your thoughts?
Nah, I don't give a shit about it. Just to be honest with you, if it's
Hmm.
not, I mean, right now it's so low on the totem pole. I'm not really into it in a world of One Piece and Pokemon
Yeah.
and even like this. You're saying Star Wars TCG is coming, right?
Yeah.
I mean, is that what this is? The Star Wars TCG,
Yeah.
right? So it's like, I mean, I'm not. I mean, I'm kind of so on it.
Yeah.
I think it's cool to have like the really rare cards, the ones that are kind of worth some big money.
Hmm.
But but again, it's like in my world, Disney is just losing steam altogether. I mean, the
Yeah.
movies and Steamboat Willie just went public domain, so it's like you're starting to see people do things with Mickey Mouse that shouldn't have been done or shouldn't be done, but because it's just I mean it's public domain now, so you can do all kind of shit with it. I can go get a piece of chain for it, and I can literally find something to do with it and make it work and make money off of it.
Right. Right.
As it becomes public domain. So I don't really care. I mean, Locana, I don't give a shit about. Now, Pokemon, you got my attention. Magic, you got my attention. One Piece, you really got my attention right now.
Yeah.
But Lorcana, I'm not. Hey, let's play. Hey, let's get out there and play Lorcana. Nah, I'm good.
Nah. Well, cool, man. That's why I love that. I love your opinion about it. I'm glad that you have a negative opinion about it, honestly, because it gives me a perspective to look into it. I didn't think of what's up, Dak? You're
What's
not
up?
late. You're great. You're right on time, dog. You're right on time.
No, you're late.
What's up, Marcus?
Man, listen, it's just me and Ferd Bird the nerd. We're actually about to shoot a porno. You said it earlier.
And Vin's not invited?
Oh no,
No, he's got too many
Vinny got
things going
something.
on.
Vinny got something. He said Vinny got cooties. That's what they were saying. Vinny got cooties. So no, I'm good on that.
What you been up to? What you been talking about?
Oh man, just working. We just talking about this Lorcana shit. I don't really care about it, but he said he played the game. It's actually pretty fun, but nobody gives a damn.
It's like I don't know what their segment of like were they trying to communicate that towards like the younger generation, or were they actually trying to market it towards like Gen Z, Gen X? I don't know. But for sure, just from my small pool of people, it's not, no kid knows about it, and Pokemon still came with them. So yeah,
Yes.
just kind of wanted to get people's
I
opinion
actually
about it. But
went searching for the Lorcana.
mhm.
I couldn't find any. They're all sold out.
Yeah,
Were these selling at Target?
I found some packs at Target and Best Buy. And just kind of like observation, I would see kids go for Pokemon and not Lorcana. I think what I think what Disney or Lorcana, the distributors, need to really do is just overprint the shit out of it. I think if they really want to get people to actually play it, you got to make it attainable to people. And I think, Dak, like you just said, like you couldn't find a pack. I mean, that's how are you going to develop a game if you can't play it?
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, and next up, Star Wars TCG. This is Cody and me have been waiting for this this set to come out. It comes out, I believe, February or March. I can't remember exactly, but you can pre-order this. There are a couple promo cards of Darth Vader and Luke currently on eBay. It's a promo card that they sell the pair for like $50. So if you're specking on this game being pretty popular, $50 for the two main characters of the series, franchise, whatever, what have you, that might not be a bad idea. And then Ryan, is this new trading card game compatible with the Star Wars deck building game that is already out? I don't think so. Don't Don't quote me on that, but I think it's a different company. Do you guys know anything about the Star Wars Unlimited, or are you guys anticipating it at all?
I'm anticipating. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know too much about it. I've only been hearing rumblings, but I'm definitely excited about it.
Yeah.
No, I haven't heard too much about this. I don't really, don't venture into the card games and the RPG card games too much.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing I was into was Metaverse.
Metaverse, what's that?
The one that was hyped up in San Diego Comic Con. You guys never heard of Metaverse before?
I haven't.
It's like the crypto. What am I thinking of? Crypto zoology sort of characters that was so there are two guys that created it. One guy was, I forget his name, but you know that guy who does the EDM music? I forget his name,
Steve
but
Aoki?
Steve Aoki, correct.
Mm-hmm.
He was promoting Metaverse in 2021, 2020, and it blew up. They are heavily promoting Metaverse in all the San Diego Comic Cons I've been to.
So I went to MetaZoo.
MetaZoo, that's it.
Oh, okay. MetaZoo.
I'm sorry. Yes, MetaZoo. Kept saying
Shout out Tony, because I was like, what? Because I was like, Metaverse. I was like, what? But when he said Steve Aoki, I knew he was talking MetaZoo. But I was
yeah. So you guys know about MetaZoo then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
MetaZoo was kind of slowed down a little bit, but they it's crazy. I got so much MetaZoo shit that it was just kind of overload for me.
Yeah.
Like I got the silver, like MetaZoo, man, when he was really rolling, he had jewelry that you could get, like silver or gold jewelry. That you could get. And I got like 2 of those, and I got like the lunch kits in MetaZoo, and I got all this other MetaZoo shit. But it kind of slowed down a little bit because, he was, they saying that, the CEO's a dick, and, he's just kind of all over the place and doing whatever. But they got a collab with Hello Kitty right now.
Yes.
Yeah. So, they got a couple of things, but I don't know if it's going to be enough for them to do it. Some of their main artists have left, like Poncho and, and stuff like that. But if he's smart, like what he did, he said, we're going to focus on meeting our deliverables. Like, if y'all say that, something's coming out, it's going to come out on that time. We're not going to push it back. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. Because they went into overdrive with shit. And so now it's like, people are like,
No kidding. Like, that's one product you can find everywhere.
Yeah.
Any card RPG store or any sports, like non-sports card store, you can find MetaZoo. And during San Diego Comic Con this year, they were handing out the Hello Kitty cards, and they went all the way up to, during the hype, like $100 for one of the characters. I forget which one, but
I could see that.
It was pretty popular during San Diego Comic Con last year. So yeah, I don't know anything else about it.
Oh no, it's all good. Yeah. I never bought a MetaZoo card. I don't know. I the only people I saw collecting that game was dudes our age, so I was just like, I think it's just it's another, like Tony was saying, like that whatnot 2021, anything collectible was just gotta take advantage of it, I guess, personally, but that was just me. So and then just something I noticed on some channels on YouTube, the card of the year in Paldea Evolved was this trainer card, Iono. There's been different iterations of this card, so I guess if you're kind of wondering or need a starting point of like Pokemon, especially for the past year, and want kind of a lower entry point into ribbons and packs, whether that be for yourself, Vinny, your kids, if he's listening, this card goes for around $30 to $60. The Paldea Evolved, I think, retails $3.99, so it's still pretty. Again, it's the entry point, right? You want as many collectors to get into that space, and that's why I think Pokemon does such a good job, and Magic the Gathering as well. But yeah, just something I just saw on some channels and just like actually on my kind of watch list and all that. So yeah, something for the Pokemon collectors out there. All right, next slide. And yeah, just some comic book, I wouldn't say like sales I saw, but just more just stuff I've just been seeing. Like, okay, so all new Spider-Man Ultimate Comics, that's a pretty expensive book and high grade, raw, but it's my favorite. I think out of all the covers, I think, I don't have a UF4 anymore. I love this cover, and I love how it's the first series of Miles, right? Now, if you're specking, right, that lower entry point and trying to sell it for 8 times or whatever, I feel like this Marvel must-haves, and I have all 3 of them, the ones I'm specking on right now. They're the volumes. So like each Marvel must-haves is like a 1 through 3 collection of the previous, like, or of basically the 3 issues of that series. So for the Spider-Man, which it's hard to hunt for this book, 1 through 3, it goes for around, like, I've seen copies go for like $30. I snagged one at 25. There's not a lot of market sales on these books graded, but they go for raw for a reprint, right? They go for pretty high. But versus like the number 1 for all new Ultimate Comics Spider-Man, I mean, that's like a 3-figure book in some spots, right? The print run on these guys is very low. The problem with these conditional books is that it's a thicker book. So pressing it, you could actually damage the book even worse. I've seen 198 in the Spider-Man asking for $1,000, and then the NYX kind of the same, which I thought was very interesting, because the NYX 9.8 you could get for, I mean, I saw one for $950 go for the other day. And we're talking about the one thing that's coming out this year of 2024 is Deadpool, which possibly, right, X-23 is going to come out, first appearance. Instead of getting the NYX3 raw for $400 to $500, you can get NYX Marvel must-haves for like $40 to $50. What do you guys think?
I gotta have the original.
You gotta have the original.
I gotta have the original. I'm gonna pay for the original simply because I understand the value of the original. I think the Marvel must-have is cool. It's just like we relegated back to Pokemon cards. The first edition Charizard Shadowless is always going to be the one. Now you can go get these other versions of Charizard. It's not going to be Shadowless. It's not going to be first edition, but it's the same type of card. You'll make a few dollars, but if you had that original joint, that's where the money is. That's what I would do. So I would, realistically, I'm not saying this is bad. I think my thing is just know your pocket.
Yeah.
Know your pocket, know your budget. If you don't have $600 to throw away, then don't grab a Nix 3 raw. Because if it's graded, that's a whole different thing.
Right.
But, if you don't have, like, if you didn't catch when COVID hit, a bunch of people passed away. Sorry to hear that. But if you didn't catch these deals with these original books popping out and boys just trying to dump, that was your fault. I cleaned up. COVID? Oh man, I'm so sorry that Reggie passed away. How much are you selling this book for? Oh man. Let me look at my account. I just sent it to you. Go ahead and mail me that book. I mean, it's like, I ain't trying to play no games. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like, let's be for real. Let's be for real. These books were on a dip, just like right now with the Bitcoin. Bitcoin was at 22,000 when COVID hit. It dropped up. Well, I guess when COVID got in full effect, it was down to 20,000.
Man, last year it's like now 17K.
Down to 16.
Yeah, somewhere lower than that. Now look at what's about to happen. I wish I'd have flipped 15,000 just into a Bitcoin.
Half a Bitcoin.
Yeah.
One more time.
When it dipped down to 16,000, I told everybody that could afford it to buy half a Bitcoin.
Smart. Yeah. Smart.
But
Smart.
it's kind of late now.
Yeah, it's kind of late now. Yeah.
But let's
Uh,
So my my thoughts on this. I agree with Marcus. If you have the opportunity and the funds to buy the original, I would go for the original. The reasons being is that, first of all, Nick's number, is it 3 or 2? Whatever. First appearance of Nick's 3.
3.
I have 2 copies of this book. I bought him way back, like in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
I got them really cheap for like $20 each or something
Sure.
like that. But
Yeah.
the book is relatively low print, and it is a tougher book. Correct me if I'm wrong, to get 9.8.
Yes.
It's very hard. Yeah.
So if you have the funds to buy it now when the market's down, man, it's a golden opportunity to get it. And same with Ultimate Fallout 4. I mean, I think on Ultimate Fallout 4 9.8, they're selling, I think I saw on Elite Comics, I think it was going for 900 or something. It dipped quite a bit.
I'd be scooping.
Yeah. So if you can buy those books now, I think you're going to be pretty good in the future.
Yeah. I think the only person that really beat me with books is Vinny, because Vinny is an asshole and he sits in comic book stores all day. And that's why he's sick. That's why he always is sick, because
because he's catching,
he's touching all the shit and
he's
just
touching all those comic book nerds.
getting all the
Tables.
Yeah, touching all the tables and everything else. You know what that's like? That's like, Vinny flipping through that and doing all the shit that he's doing is almost like, man, eating a girl and then putting a condom on. It's like, fool, you swallow the disease. Like, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah.
Some great references today.
Yeah. You swallow the disease. Yeah, let me put a condom on. You swallow the
Well, that's our show tonight, guys.
Okay. I'm saying, Vinny just be in the thick of it, bro. Like, I mean, I love him, but he be in the thick of these books, man. He be finding
is.
But
Like
he
5
finds all the deals. He finds
NYX3.
all the deals.
He's got everything. Like,
he's got some amazing shit.
He's got some fun stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we are about a half hour into the show. I just want to thank everyone who's watching tonight. I want to thank Marcus and Dak for coming on. We're trying to do this every
people watching for.
We got 10 watching right now.
Ian, what's up, y'all? Go tell somebody to tell somebody. If we can get up to 20, I'm gonna give away $500.
Okay.
Well, I hope we don't get to 20, but like 19, 18 would be cool. That'd be hilarious.
I'm gonna write $500 on some paper. I said notice I said $500. I didn't say $500.
Okay, all right. Not legally.
Legally.
We only got a couple more slides here tonight, guys.
These are good topics.
So yeah, so again, apologies, I don't have a lot this week. There just wasn't a lot of stuff going into the new year. But something that I've just been, Marcus and I think our kind of closeness, our friendship, this journey, if you will, if we're going through collectibles, it started with strategy guides. He called me up and just, we were talking about strategy guides, and I'm always on the hunt for strategy guides. And I was looking through some old stuff, and I found an old Beckett, and it was this one. It's the Beckett from when the original Dream Team.
Nice.
Yeah, right. And it's beat up. I mean, it's beat up to hell. And I wasn't trying to make money on it, but I was curious of how much it went for. If you guys do find a nice Beckett raw of this one specifically, now Jordan's on the back, which I wonder if Jordan was on the front, if this would be worth more, but it is what it is. If you can find this, in a decent shape, you can sell it, flip it for $30 to $35. Mm-hmm. I find Beckett magazines like all over the place, whether it be half price books, used bookstores in general, and older copies of them like early 90s, mid 90s, that type of thing. They're not exactly in the best condition, but I feel like the magazine market, especially when it comes to nostalgia, people just want to look up those old prices, man. I mean, that's what I did for like a half hour, looking at those dumb old prices, but it was pretty fun. But just something to be on the lookout for, specifically this Beckett Dream Team magazine. Do you guys ever think of, man, old Beckett? I know like the Jordan Beckett's like the one to have as far as basketball is concerned, but do you guys have any old Beckett's at all? Do you ever look for them at all?
Nope.
So I'm on a Sports Illustrated hunt.
Mm-hmm.
I've already mentioned the first swimsuit issue
Mm-hmm.
on our Discord.
Yeah.
I also believe that there are other Sports Illustrated magazines that are rising in value.
Mm-hmm.
First Tom Brady cover,
Yep.
first Michael Jordan cover, first Mike Tyson cover. Those are all, they're not cheap. They're not
Yeah.
cheap. And a lot of them are really beat up. You won't see near mint copies. If there are near mint copies, you're going to be paying 3 figures.
Yeah.
I
really
mean,
expensive.
graded. So because CGC grades Sports Illustrated.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Are they grading Beckett as well, Ferd?
Yeah, they actually are. They're doing Beckett. I did see a Beckett for this in like an 8.5 go for best offer $295.
Okay.
Okay. And Tony in the chat, man. I mean, you should definitely contact him, dude. He's a G when it comes to magazines in general. You guys have a good time talking about magazines for sure. The thing with magazine like collecting right now is that people that are buying or like bidding on magazines, they think 98 or bust, and it's virtually impossible. Even with it's so hard, right? Even with newer on the shelf like Wembanyamas, for example. I think for sure like the newsstand versus a subscription, there's a little bit of difference there. So like always shoot for a newsstand. I think for nostalgia, as well. You talked about the first cover, Michael Jordan. My thing, and it's very niche, and I know it's very early and whatnot, but I just find it's more fascinating to me is the first mentions of players, like the first Michael Jordan. We talked about that a year or so ago. I can't find any of those anymore. It's an Isaiah Thomas cover from 81, I want to say, or 80.
Okay.
But it's when Jordan's mentioned as one of the members of the All-America team the McDonald's All-American team. And he's still in high school. It's pretty cool. And yeah, that's the one thing about you don't need to be a 9/8 SOP. So from the collector standpoint, you can get really good deals in like lower grades, like almost in some cases less than like cost to grade it. I think, and I've talked about this on previous podcasts, like I think the magazine collectibles market is very new. I think people are still kind of finding it, and there's so many different avenues you could go, right? I mean, like I was saying, like Marcus and I, we talk about strategy guides. We'll put that like in the magazine kind of category for collectibles. And I think right now, and Trey can probably attest to this if he's here, because I've asked Trey, get them cheap now, but don't grade them because it's so expensive to get them slabbed, and it take a long time to have all that money tied into, especially in this economy, right? I just think it's really hard if you're trying to flip. It's more of a wait and see kind of thing. And you can get good deals for like raw stuff. I think. Next, kind of piggybacking on Baldur's Gate's success of being Game of the Year this past year, I looked at just some older stuff, and the Baldur's Gate strategy guide I think is not a bad play. The original one, and this is another thing too to kind of go again with strategy guides. Kind of like with physical media, I tried finding a Final Fantasy remake strategy guide. They don't make one for it. They don't make one for Final Fantasy 16. They don't make them for the brand new game that came out. I think the new Resident Evil, I didn't see a strategy guide for it. So what makes me think this, or the reason I'm thinking, is because the onset of YouTube, people, you can just be like, oh, how do I get past this point? You can just click on YouTube, and then someone's has a basically how to do it. I've done that with other games before myself. So like I just think strategy guides are, I don't think they're going to make them anymore. I think they're done.
Yeah, I think they're gonna definitely. There's an expiration date on them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, even with, let's say, something as simple as Call of Duty. I mean, with the duplication tombstone list, you can find anything that you're looking for on YouTube, a video or something like
Yeah.
that. They're not really doing that shit no more.
Yeah,
So
there's no
it's,
money in it,
yeah,
So I think even more so, like it's gonna have a value for that collector, right? So,
absolutely.
and again, like I think when I'm going to like a half price books, um, when you're looking for a strategy guide and you find one for like a Pokemon, I think that's always a good one. Condition's really tough on Pokemon because those things are beat up. You know what I mean? They're always going to pay like $40 for a Pokemon. Earthworm Jim's one that I've seen that goes for pretty good money, but the like mid 2000 strategy guides, like you can still get those in pretty good condition. Just make sure there's like the map that's in there or like a poster if it's included. The nice thing about those is they're pretty thick and they don't really rip too bad. If you find a ripped one, I probably wouldn't buy it, but they go for really cheap because it's like $5-6. I have a stack of them in my closet, and I don't know, who knows, obviously get to like the properties that are pretty popular, like a Modern Warfare, Resident Evil, the marquee Metal Gear Solid. I have a couple of those ones. Have you ever thought about getting into strategy guides, Dak?
I have. So, Ferd, I was looking into Warhammer.
Mm-hmm.
Warhammer, what is it, 50,000 or 40,000?
40K, yeah.
40K, that's
Yeah.
it. So they're extremely tough to find. I did a search on eBay, and there were only, I think there's one or two listed on first print.
Mm-hmm.
You need to get the first print, and they were beat up to hell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think they were only printed in the UK.
Yeah.
If correct me if I'm wrong, that's what I felt, that when I was doing the search, they're only printed in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Those are rare. Now, I think a beat up copy selling for $400 on eBay.
Wow.
Now, if anybody can get their hands on the Warhammer stuff, that's a great investment. I know it's not quite video games, but it is in that same vein. It's a strategy guide.
Mm-hmm.
And that Henry Cavill is going to be taking over that property, or has already taken over that property.
Mm-hmm.
And so if they start making movies and that becomes a pop culture sensation, you better believe those books are going to be sought after.
Yeah.
They're very rare. So I was looking into that. Apart from that, not too much into video game RPG books. I just first got word of it from you, the video game RPGs, which is great because I'm going to start searching for them in the half price books and the old bookstores. But what were the ones that you really picked up, you scored on, Ferd?
I would say like I found a Last of Us.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, Last of Us from the first game, right?
Okay. Yep.
That was awesome. I actually found it at a store where Pickles and I live. They mispriced it. It was like $6, and I looked it up on eBay. They go for like 40 to 50 and like okay, great. This was a pretty nice conditioned copy. But that's one I'm really happy about. The half price books, like I just picked up the Modern Warfares for like $4 or $5. A World of Warcraft. I don't know how they'll grade it because it's kind of a weird shape, kind of deal. What's another one that Final Fantasy is always ones that I think that do really well.
Grade them?
What's that?
CGC does grade them.
They do grade them. I haven't graded any of like the really thick ones. Just like the 300-page like suckers, right? Like I've never graded those because I'm not sure. I just haven't graded them, but I don't know if the thickness, and Tony may know a little more than me, but I don't know how thick they go as far as grading the strategy guides. And that's something you probably want to watch out for, right? But yeah, like you said, like, strategy guides they were used, they were loved, they were put next to the game, so it's tough to find them a good grade.
Exactly.
But the nostalgia factor, man, it really hits with strategy guys for sure.
Exactly.
But
Yeah,
good stuff.
it's the right time to get in.
Yeah.
It's still, collecting magazines, strategy guides, still nascent, still in like people haven't caught on yet. I think what's happening now are people, in my opinion, people have sort of um, veered away from comics. I think it's probably comic book fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
And I think some collectors are like moving toward areas of collecting where they believe that there's going to be a demand in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So, sports cards have been there, comic books have been there, all those things have just a big collecting history, but these other things do not. And I
Mm-hmm.
think I think as we move forward, I think these things are going to be sought after. And nostalgia is a big factor, right?
Yeah.
As you mentioned. So, yeah.
And like kind of to piggyback on your Warhammer idea, I love that because I played Warhammer when I was like, 11, 12 years old. The
Yeah.
pewter, it wasn't plastic, it was pewter.
Yeah.
And you're exactly right. Games Workshop was in the UK,
Yeah.
and it was like $400 for this big ass box of stuff, right? The crazy thing though is like it stood that test of time. Like people still buy it, and they're like Pickles is saying, they're a rabid fan, or Warhammer fans are crazy.
Mhm.
And so I think if like a 20-year-old, 25-year-old that goes to, there's like a couple bars around me that people meet up and they play Warhammer
Mhm.
like on a consistent basis, right? And now it's kind of like this new, I'd say the past 4 or 5 years, they've made it like a very social, like, let's go to the bar and play tabletop games.
Yeah.
Where 25 years ago, that was like, are you freaking serious? You freaking nerds. That's not
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
So it's kind of gone into that, like, it's a social norm now. And so why wouldn't someone who's avid Warhammer player want to get that old school? Oh man, it'd be so cool to have the pewter or like the OG, what like the kids say, right? Warhammer guide. I think that's awesome. That's a great play. I love that. And then just something random I saw, just again with like, with media that is dying or is dead. I saw this Laserdisc Mario go for $500 asking.
Oh shit.
That movie was horrible, but it's one of those dumb movies like I'll watch it if it's on TV or like on TiVo or
I was a
whatever.
kid. I was a kid when it came out. I mean,
Mhm.
maybe 12, I believe.
Yeah, sounds about right.
I didn't think it was a bad movie when it came out. Maybe it was like too young to even remember, but I didn't think that was really bad. But I haven't watched it since. Is it that bad?
I haven't watched it like in maybe like
Okay,
4 or 5
Marcus is
years.
wild, so he's seen it recently.
I just remember the Koopa Troopers with the small ass heads. It just didn't have anything to do with the video game. It was almost confusing. But we were happy to have a movie. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
Marcus,
things were like that.
Marcus, what you feeling about this random ass laser disc sealed for $500?
I'm not getting in the middle of that. let me tell you something. I love Mario Brothers. I love the old one and the new one. So, so for me it's I can see it selling for 500. It's just like, who knew that video games were going to do what it's doing right now? The old Nintendo video games. Who knew that shit was going to go crazy like how it is?
Yeah.
I held on to that shit. I mean, I got a Super Nintendo, but I opened it. I should have kept it closed. Probably would have been sitting on about 30 grand right now.
Yeah, right. But that's cool.
Yeah.
Good stuff. I think this may be our last one, Marcus. I know you gotta pack for your big trip. So before we go, before we get into this. What's that? Sorry?
Where's he headed?
Oh, LA. I'll be in LA for a week.
Porn convention. Gotcha.
Oh no, not a convention.
just the porn. No convention.
I am the porn convention, brother.
Nice.
Yeah. I bring the porn convention with me, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm the hell and the high water.
Again, just want to thank everyone for coming through. This is a Dak, man. I'm really glad that you came through tonight. You are obviously I'd love to make you part of the rotation, at least every other show, or whenever you're available, man. It's great to have your insight. And too bad Vinny isn't here, right, Marcus? We're kind of sad Vinny isn't here. We're
I don't
not.
give a
We're
shit
not.
about it. I don't give a
We
shit
don't
about
give a shit
it.
about Marcus. Yeah. Anyway, so
I text him. I think he's like under the weather, as Marcus said. He caught something from some.
Vinny went to Cuba and got a BBL. He is out of pocket.
he's out of pocket.
The next time you see him, his ass gonna be
Nice.
his ass will be assing. Vinny went and got a BBL.
Well, on the next show, we'll have to interview him in the first 10 minutes of the
Vinny,
show.
Did you go and get a BBL? Stand up for the people.
So stupid, dude. All right, I'm talking about video games. So these are pre-orders coming up in March. Again, always have to be ahead of the curve. But South Park Snow Days coming out this coming March. This is the collector's edition. I mean, South Park, obviously, like that is 2000s, late 90s nostalgia for sure. It's a video game. It's a collector's edition. It comes with a snow globe, Cartman, and I think this cap retails for $299.99. I think they're sold out. I'm not sure, but you have to go on the website to check it out. But what's up, Renee? Thanks for coming through, man. And then Alone in the Dark. I actually tried getting this collector's edition on Best Buy, and it's sold out. I think this retails again for $299.99, but it comes with a lot of stuff. Again, with media going to be downloaded and whatnot. I think gaming studios still understand that there's collectors out there, especially for like these fairly, I wouldn't say big franchises, but well-received franchises, if you will. I think there's a market for that, and the collector's market for as well. A couple examples from 2023. Obviously, the Star Wars game that came out with the lightsaber. I mean, that was $299. I saw sales for like $700 consistently still afterwards. What's up, Kingdom of Nerds? Hope you had a good show. You guys got to follow our boy Kingdom of Nerds on YouTube. What was another one? A Baldur's Gate 3 that retailed for £299, selling for $1,500 to $1,600. The PS5 version is already out, I think, but the physical one, which was pre-ordering for $99.99, is now going for $200. It hasn't even come out yet. So I think there's still a market. There's still spec plays in these newer video games. Obviously, like a couple of things you have to worry about. They're expensive, and it freaking, if you live in a studio apartment, good luck storing it. So those are two things kind of you have to deal with. But if you can flip it and risk, it might not be a bad play. What do you guys think?
Facts. No, totally, absolutely. Especially anything Star Wars, anything Star Wars.
Yeah.
If it's a collectible, I'm in there. South Park is always good as well, but that Star Wars shit, hands down, is rabid. So
yeah.
I wouldn't say everything Star Wars. I would say the video game stuff is good. We spoke about this, I think, a couple of shows ago, that I'd be worried about collecting everything Star Wars. Right now is a pretty bad time for Star Wars collectibles, especially the comics. We've seen all of them dip crazy. But certain items, I would say I agree with Marcus. Certain items, yeah, I would buy certain items. This video game looks like a good buy. I would say it's expensive. If you got the money, you can buy it and stash it away. The other thing is, I wanted to mention a little bit about South Park. Has anyone noticed that like South Park, the figurines or the Simpsons figurines, they're worth nothing. They came out like 20 years ago. But
God, longer, like 27.
Yeah, but
they're Simpsons, yeah.
Yeah, this is my observation, but I don't know why they're not worth more. I mean, Simpsons is a cultural icon, same with South Park, and their first edition toys are not worth anything. I think the whole toy game has gotten, has not taken off. Like it was at its hype many years ago, at least 5 years ago, but no one's collecting toys anymore in terms of investment potential.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that is. Maybe it's the whole point of storing them gets to people. But I don't know. Do you guys collect toys?
I do actually. Yep.
Okay.
Not really. There's like few and far between. Like I like the old GI Joe stuff.
Yeah.
I've tried collecting like Transformers in the past, but it's like I buy one and it takes up like a whole shelf, and
Yeah.
that's the big thing for me. But I love them, you know.
Right. So Marcus, what are your thoughts on the toy collectible, like the figurines and stuff? Are they still holding value after you buy them, or
Some are, and most are not.
most are not?
But that's the thing. It's like, again, who knew that video games would be a thing? I think everything kind of comes in waves. So like toys, yeah, they're down right now, but I would be buying toys. I mean, I believe in this. Be greedy when others are fearful, and fearful when others are greedy. Right?
Yeah.
I think I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, Warren. You
Yeah.
got it, Warren.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Warren Buffett. Yeah, good job.
Um,
But
You know.
yeah,
I would say also, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'll just say this real quick, and then I want to know what you have to say, Dak. Alone in the Dark, that's not a very well-known franchise or game, I guess you would say. But the horror genre games, like that's almost like it's almost like a good bet
Mhm.
in a lot of times. It's Alone in the Dark series too, and I don't know if Renee's in the chat, but I've heard a lot of really good things about it, like anticipation wise. Like a lot of people are really wanting to get this game, and the nice thing about like these video games, if you're just unsure about it, they have such good previews. Like it's like watching a movie, right? I mean, that's kind of what video games would turn into. That you can kind of judge ahead of time. And I don't know. I want to play this game, and I'm not a horror game guy at all. But I mean, $2.99 again. Like the tough thing too is like, like Tony I just highlighted it, but Tony was saying in the chat like, it's a huge buy-in, right? $300, and you got to store it.
Yep.
My kind of argument against that though is like, well, if you're buying Spider Boy number 1 for 150 to $200, like, and I feel like I think that's more risky, quote unquote. But yeah, Dak, sorry, I cut you off. What were you gonna say?
No, I was going to say you have a great point. Like the horror genre has totally taken off within the last year or so. Everything horror is like, whether it's comic books, golden age horror comic books, whether it's new horror, but the new image book, something beneath, I forget the name of it, it's too long, but that new image book that came out that everybody wants, it's a horror book. You're seeing horror movies that are doing very well in the box office. And again, horror genre in video games is a new thing, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's something to look out for. And I think if Alone in the Dark becomes a big hit, this will be a huge game.
Yeah, I'm just
The $2.99 buy-in will be worth it.
Yeah, it's a tough one, right, guys? Yeah. That's so I always err with a shot of caution. But last but not least, before we get going here, guys. So Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, the old game from 2005, is being revisioned. Supposedly it's this year. When we're thinking about games to look out for the next year, I would say Grand Theft Auto, like Marcus has said many times. I love that. I mean, the collector's edition hasn't even come out yet, or I don't know the details about it, but I'm like just waiting to get pre-ordered. I love that play, Marcus. But I think it's pretty safe with this Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic video game coming out. Just keep an eye on it, people. I'll try and put on the Discord if I find out more when the actual like specs come out and all that. But I mean, this hits all genres, right? Like the comic books, the figures, Darth Revan, Malik. I mean, this is where all that spec comes from, is the video game. And I kind of wonder too, like, so this whole comic book boom that we became friends over, it spurred really from obviously COVID, but from the shows, right? When is it or when will it happen with video games? I'm just kind of curious.
That's a good question.
That's something that like broad horizon I'm kind of thinking of, because Spider-Man 2, game of the year, in my opinion. Dude, it made me want to get comic books that had Miles and Spider-Man and Silk and all the characters in that game. I just wonder if they'll spill into video games, because that's what kids do nowadays. They play video games. They don't buy comics as much as they used to. But
You could play Silk
dude,
in the game.
Silk, spoilers, everyone. Silk is actually in the Spider-Man 2 game as a cutscene at the end of the game.
Oh wow, how fun!
So that same feeling, like when we saw cutscenes, right, in like the old movies, or like post-credit scenes, like, oh, dude, like Starjammer, I don't freaking know, like, or name a character that showed up in a cutscene, and immediately that comic book went up in price. Well, Silk shows up as like a friend of Miles in a cutscene at the end of the game after you beat it. So anyway, well, that's the show for tonight, guys. I didn't have a lot today, and I know Marcus has to get packing for his porn. I mean, his
yes.
His porn. Yes.
Got to get my whips and chains together in my suitcase.
But I do appreciate him taking his very busy schedule and hanging out with us, man.
I'm here. I'm committed to what we're going to do this year. It's going to be great. So
yeah, I'm committed to this friendship that we have, Marcus. I don't know if you feel the same, but
well, thank you, Bird. I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I love you, man. And Dak, dude, like, you're batting 1,000 every time you come on the show, dude. Like,
always a pleasure, Fern.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah,
told you guys earlier, like, I try to stay incognito as much as I can, but you're the show that I made an exception for. So
I appreciate it, man.
Be here, and I love it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, you are invited every single show, man. We're gonna try and get Wade. I think the next show too, just to try to spread out some of the show and all that good stuff. But we'll need him back on. And
yeah, I think a couple of others wanted to come on the show, Fern.
Yeah,
I mentioned them to you, so I'll have them get in touch with you again.
Yeah, Manny was gonna come on, but his schedule was kind of crazy, I guess, with the holidays and whatnot. But yeah, we've been conversing, so we'll try and get him on hopefully next time in a couple of weeks or something. But anyway, all right. Well, Marcus, fly safe. Everyone, have a great Tuesday. Thanks for coming out, and we will see you all.
We'll see you later, but I just want you to see that I was doing this. Dak was like, I got your back.
Oh yeah. All right.
See you soon.
Have fun, Marcus.
Well, with that said, have a good night, guys.
Get a lot of lube.